Welcome to 10 Ranked. Today we're delving into the dark and chilling stories of the top 10 most dangerous prisoners of all time. From infamous serial killers to ruthless gangsters, these individuals left a haunting mark on history. If you're ready to face the darkest depths of human nature, hit that like button. Subscribe, and let's begin our chilling countdown. 1. Charles Manson. Our list begins with one of the most notorious names in criminal history. Charles Manson was born in 1934 in Ohio and grew up in a troubled environment. He formed a cult-like following known as the Manson family in the late 1960s. Manson manipulated his followers into committing the infamous Tate LaBianca murders in 1969. His charismatic personality and twisted ideology made him a symbol of evil in American criminal history. Manson was convicted in 1971 and sentenced to death, which was later commuted to life in prison. He died in 2017 at the age of 83, but his legacy as one of the most dangerous cult leaders and murderers remains. 2. Next up, we have Ted Bundy. Theodore Bundy was born in 1946 and was an intelligent and charismatic individual. He confessed to the murders of over 30 young women in the 1970s. Bundy's good looks and charm allowed him to gain the trust of his victims before carrying out his gruesome crimes. After multiple escapes from custody, Bundy was finally captured in 1975. He was sentenced to death and executed in the electric chair in 1989, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most notorious serial killers in history. 3. Coming in at number 3 is Richard the Night Stalker Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, born in 1960, was a serial killer, rapist, and burglar. His reign of terror in the mid-1980s earned him the nickname Night Stalker. Ramirez's brutal crimes were characterized by home invasions, sexual assault, and ritualistic killings. He was captured in 1985 and sentenced to death. Ramirez died of cancer in 2013, but his name continues to evoke fear and dread. 4. The only female on our list is Aileen Wuornos. Born in 1956, Aileen Wuornos had a troubled upbringing and was involved in prostitution. She confessed to murdering 7 men between 1989 and 1980, claiming self-defense. Her trial and eventual execution in 2002 sparked debates over mental health, childhood trauma, and the death penalty. Wuornos remains one of the few female serial killers in history. 5. Andrei Chikatilo, born in 1936, was a Soviet serial killer known as the Butcher of Rostov. He preyed on women and children, committing over 50 murders between 1978 and 1990. Chikatilo's gruesome acts included mutilation and cannibalism. He was finally arrested in 1990, convicted in 1992, and executed in 1994. 6. Up next, we have John Wayne Gacy. Born in 1942, John Wayne Gacy was a successful businessman and active community member who also had a dark side. He sexually assaulted and murdered at least 33 teenage boys between 1972 and 1978. Gacy lured his victims to his home under the guise of offering them work or shelter. He was convicted in 1980 and executed by lethal injection in 1994. 7. Jeffrey Dahmer, born in 1960, was an American serial killer and necrophile who murdered and dismembered 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. Dahmer's crimes involved acts of cannibalism and preserving body parts as trophies. He was arrested in 1991 and sentenced to 16 life terms in prison. Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate in 1994. 8. Traveling back to the 1800s, we have H.H. Holmes Herman Webster Mudgett, better known as H.H. Holmes, was an American serial killer and con artist. Born in 1861, Holmes built a hotel, later infamously called the Murder Castle, which he used to trap and murder guests during the 1893 World's Fair. His total number of victims remains unclear, but it is believed to be between 20 to 200 people. Holmes was captured in 1894, tried and executed by hanging in 1896, becoming one of America's earliest and most sinister serial killers. Shifting gears from serial killers to organized crime, Al Capone, born in 1899, was an American gangster and one of the most infamous figures of the Prohibition era. He rose to power as the leader of the Chicago Outfit, a criminal organization involved in bootlegging, gambling, and other illegal activities. Capone's ruthlessness and strategic brilliance made him a feared and respected crime boss. Despite his criminal activities, he was only convicted of tax evasion in 1931 and served an 11-year sentence. He died of a stroke in 1947, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most notorious gangsters in American history. Last but not least, we have Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, one of the most powerful and dangerous drug lords in modern history. Born in 1957, Joaquin Guzman Loera, commonly known as El Chapo, was a Mexican drug lord and leader of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. Guzman's notoriety stemmed from his ability to escape from high-security prisons, including 2 daring escapes in 2001 and 2015. He was captured for the final time in 2016 and extradited to the United States. In 2019, Guzman was found guilty on multiple charges related to drug trafficking and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His life and criminal exploits have inspired numerous books, films, and documentaries, cementing his position as one of the most dangerous and influential drug lords in history. And that concludes our chilling journey through the top 10 most dangerous prisoners of all time. Their stories serve as a haunting reminder of the dark side of human nature. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more gripping content.